What is job order costing and what is process costing? Well, to begin with, both are means or methods of assigning costs to products or services. It's just a different approach to us. In contrast to, say, activity-based costing, which is assigning costs specifically to activities as part of a process, right? So with job order costing, you're generally only going to use this when you have very distinct, non-uniform, custom or tailored products. And oftentimes, if you're billing a specific customer or client for a job, okay, you are going to try to assign all the costs to that job, okay? If you're a production facility that makes a bunch of products that are later distributed to retailers or distributors or something like that, job order costing is not going to work for you. It just doesn't function in that capacity. So it's very unique, custom tailored items. All right. So how do you go about doing that? Well, generally you track the individual costs on a job cost sheet, including elements of time for human labor and stuff like that, and you translate that to the job cost sheet. But material, time, people, overhead, all of these things have to be accounted for with the specific job. Now, with process costing, this is best for your homogeneous products or services that are all the same. You produce a lot of them. A lot of resources go into the entire production, but you can't, or it wouldn't really help you very much to identify the specific costs that go into each element of the production, or how much of the cost will go into each given product. So again, what you're doing here is you're getting the cost per individual unit of inventory that's generally based upon total cost and the number of units produced. Okay, and if you can divide the total cost by units produced, again, it will give you this cost per unit of inventory. But once again, the difficulty there is identifying all the costs that go into the situation. When you have things like labor, material, and all the other sources of overhead that are not direct costs that you have to attribute it to the production process, it becomes quite difficult, right? And then to make it even more difficult, because you have different degrees of production, that is, how close are you to the final product? So you have work in progress inventory, you have completed inventory, and then you have raw materials that have already been identified to the job. So if you're going to assign costs at these various points, it becomes even more difficult as part of the process. But once again, these are the differences between the two and the scenarios under which you would use job order costing versus process costing.